Just scoot over and fix something real quick.
Great. I'm going to start being funny.
Yeah,
Hold on. Wait, hold on.
There's 100% no pressure on that. So
Okay. Wait, hold on still. No, wait. Still waiting. Yeah,
my favorite part of this already is over your left shoulder is a dog bed with a dog on it, and over my shoulder is a dog bed with a dog on it.
Yeah,
we've got good synergy.
Right now they're being chill. I can't promise they're gonna stay chill.
Welcome to the Off the Road Again podcast. I'm Chris.
I'm Ross.
I'm Elana. I'm visiting.
You can become more permanent. We're always looking for other co-hosts.
This is true.
Ross is like, wait, you are?
Well, Ross starts producing. Well, actually, no, I shouldn't give Ross a hard time. He's lined up guests recently, so
I'm going to keep my mouth shut.
You have lined up guests recently. It's been a very equal opportunity lined up guests recently.
I've only been here for seconds, and I've already just like got a wedge like hammered in there. Like Yoko Ono.
No. So as always, we are still socially distanced. We did it way before we're socially mandated. Before it was mandated. I'm still in the Midwest. Ross on the Northeast, and Alana's on the West Coast. So we're back to our normal 3 out of 4 time zones.
All over the place.
News. Rivian is slower.
Yeah. Is that a surprise? Is anybody surprised?
I am a little bit.
When in recent automotive history has something been delivered sooner than the company said it would be delivered?
Did Model 3 arrive on time?
Probably not.
A lot for the audio listeners. Lana shaking her head no. Ford GT arrived on time because none of us knew it was coming, and the new Ford GT just popped up. Okay. It was like poof in customer lots.
I mean, it had to be here on time because they had to race it for like half a year before they actually had one available.
I'm still kind of sad that program's gone.
It will inevitably come back in about 10 years, probably as an electric.
For the 75th anniversary? Wasn't it 50 years recently?
I mean, what was it? 14 was 50 years. I mean, they brought it back. They brought it back for the 50th anniversary of the GT winning Le Mans, which would have been 68, I think. Something like that.
I can never. Anyway. I just remember 65 is when they started all. I've read Ford I read Go Like Hell. I saw Ford versus Ferrari. You'd think some of those dates would stick in my head. No, none of them have.
Well, they lost for a while before they won. Nobody likes to talk about that part.
Yeah, they've kind of written that out of history. It's like we're gonna pretend that didn't happen.
Actually, I think it was earlier that they did win. It was, I think 68 was maybe the last with the Dan Gurney win. Maybe it was
66.
66. That's what we said. We're fine.
Yeah. Say, hey, that far back being 2 years off is nailed it.
I've drank a lot since then. So.
My favorite was and I'm sure I've said this on the show before. Somebody the other day was like, the distance from Top Gun to now is the same as the distance from Top Gun was to like the British Spitfires in the Battle of Britain kind of thing.
Oh, that's crazy.
People like, whoa, like Top Gun's like still new to me.
Yeah. Also, weirdly, Tom Cruise was Lewis Hamilton's guest of honor at the race today.
Is that who that guy was?
It was him and Harrison Ford were the two big guests. It was very, very bizarre.
Are they filming something in England?
Harrison Ford and Tom Cruise? That'd be great.
Are they filming an F1?
I mean, they're filming Drive to Survive forever, but.
Well, I meant like Harrison Ford. Cruise.
Oh, that'd be killer. I don't know.
Can we get Driven 2?
Driven to the Indiana Jones.
The horrible Sylvester Stallone mock in. Oh yeah,
I was just trying to work Harrison Ford into it.
Wait.
Do you not remember this movie, Ross?
Driven. Who was it? Stallone?
It's just called Driven. I think Stallone directed it even. But it was like IndyCar, or what wasn't IndyCar at the time? What was it? It was kart series and
it's
Formula One all matched
famous
together.
For being like one of possibly the worst motorsports movies ever.
Oh,
It
no.
has a fan. It has a
I
fan base
liked
though.
it
I'm not.
because it was so bad.
Burt Reynolds was in it. Oh my.
Oh yeah, in a wheelchair.
Oh,
Burt Reynolds
no.
was in a wheelchair for the whole movie.
Hmm.
And the
Oof.
kid from Remember the Titans was like the Jimmy Bly was the character name. Holy crap! I need to move on.
Okay. Yeah. Let's. Yep.
Anyway, Rivian
Yeah.
slow.
Rivian slow.
That's our
Yeah.
segue back.
Sorry, I was looking at the Rotten Tomatoes score for that movie, which
it's
is
not good.
14. So
Yeah, there's a reason we didn't get a sequel, but like I think Bozy was talking about the other day. He's like completely underrated film.
I'll have to throw it on this coming weekend.
He's in pit
yeah.
lanes enough. He would know.
Right. Well, he should then give us a like a full presentation on the factual realities of Days of Thunder. So
Maybe you guys could do a live viewing with both of you. So.
I would sit in for that. I would just sit and listen. I just want to hear Bozy talk about the
Right.
movie.
all the nuances and everything. So, anyways, Rivian delayed, coming September, not August. Oh no.
Well, and the SUV is even longer. They were like late fall for the SUV, and that's the one I want.
Yep. Probably not going to be able to put your hands on one for at least 6 months.
Yeah.
So
So
that's it.
I'm-
That's
I'm
the news.
hoping.
That's all the news. There was no other news. No four-wheel
like-
drive news, at least.
Broncos are showing up.
Yeah.
We've seen customer Broncos. There's one of that. There is a local one in my dealership here the other day that I actually almost ran into somebody in traffic to go, wait, that was the real one. It wasn't the sport. Like,
I drove one last week. It was great.
Oh, you did?
you
Yeah.
get to drive one too?
I did get to drive one.
Do tell.
2-door or 4-door?
2-door, 4-cylinder, stick shift.
I thought they
Okay.
weren't putting sticks.
Which?
Before.
You
No.
can only get the stick with the small engine,
Oh, okay.
and they'll
No
like
V6.
yeah, and not the major off-road package either. So
Sasquatch.
like Yeah.
So which trim did you drive? Because there's
there's 8 million of them. And
7.
yeah, okay. Now I'm gonna have to look it up, which is embarrassing because I'm writing about it, but there are 1 million of them. It's basically the highest off-road trim that you can get with the small engine. So it's still sort of a base model Bronco, but it has some off-road goodies. Like it has the goat mode, like all the different off-road modes and stuff. So that would be, I'm looking at pictures right now. Yeah, you got that.
I love
Black Diamond.
I love
Black
Musto's
Black
question
Diamond,
on your
okay.
Instagram was just good with a question mark.
Yeah.
Like that was, he didn't need anything else.
Well,
Yeah.
I told Glucker a long time ago we should have a website called like one word car reviews.
I'd write that series.
Yep.
Yeah. Back
Ford
when
Bronco. Good.
back when Twitter was much stricter about its word count, I was like, all right, I could just do Twitter car reviews. But like most of my ideas, I didn't bother. Anyway, yeah, Black Diamond is the trim level. So
Okay. How is the actual shifter itself? I've read very little about the gates,
oh, it's great.
It's
I
good?
liked
Oh,
it. Yeah. I mean, it was super easy to drive. I gave somebody a like thick lesson in it and they had no problem driving it. Clutch is great. It's not short person friendly. I'm pretty short, about like 5'3", maybe 5'4" if I lie. And it's a pretty uncomfortable driving position. Like I'm way far forward, but it's not impossible. And, like I never had any sort of issue with it. The gates are, I mean, that's not something I normally think about how far apart they are in a truck, but like it's got like the shifter has a little bit of a little bit of a ka-chunk to it. Like it's not, it's not like a sports car shifter. So, if you put it in neutral and you shake it back and forth, it sounds more like a truck than it does like a sports car, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Like it's got, it's got a little bit of a little bit of slop to it, but it's like I never hit a wrong gear. It was very, very easy. And it was so much fun. Like, so, like it was a lot of fun to drive the manual and
Did it have
Did yours?
the crawl, the
it
super
did.
low
It did.
gear?
So what is that? It's a 7-speed. It has a
7.
crawl.
Yeah.
And I did crawl up a rock in it and it crawled very effectively. So that was amusing. doesn't
Did it
feel
have the
totally necessary, but it exists.
Yeah, I don't think it's a gimmick, but it could have just been called first gear.
Yeah, it could have just been called first gear. I mean, it is very low. Like even the first gear is pretty low. I spent like when I was actually driving it around, I spent most of my time just starting in second, because it wasn't a reason to start in first in regular like flat ground driving. So
that's also how we know you're super comfortable driving a stick shift if you're comfortable starting in second.
I mean, I think it's just more about the car than me. It was, but it was, yeah. So like if they had called crawl first, you would definitely be skipping it because it's too low to even use for moving it in regular driving or in traffic or whatever. But it's cool, and I mean, it has a bunch of different. Like the thing that's nice about the Bronco or about Ford's off-road thing is, they kind of have these cheat modes, really, like I love Jeeps and I love going off-road in Jeeps, but I have definitely forgotten to put a Jeep into the appropriate mode and then been like, oh God, I'm very stuck, and had to like fix things. Whereas, because you do need to know what to do, right? In a Jeep, like you have to actually put it into 4-low, and then you need to make sure that it has gone into 4-low, and that can sometimes be a process that isn't instant. And the Ford has just like a little knob. It's like seriously like off-roading for dummies. It's like, oh, are you driving on dirt? Like turn it to the like sand and dirt mode, and now it just like
Right.
So like you guys are looking at so obviously it has already just little buttons, which are easier than knowing how to move a stick into the appropriate gearing.
It's a modern way to do
Yeah.
it. Case. Like it's not a lever. It's literally
and it moves
buttons.
it's very quick. It happens very quick, and you like half the time it'll do it even if you're not even in neutral. But then that I'm like reaching towards the screen like I'm going to turn it to demonstrate things. But the thing that says goat modes is if you like turn that. So like say you pick the rocks mode, it'll automatically put it in 4-low. It'll automatically put it in like a crawl mode. So like you don't need to be smart enough to do those things.
That you're the first person that has
it'll automatically lock the rear diff. So it's like if you don't know which combination of things to use, like we've got modes that'll just do it for you. And if you decide you don't want some aspect of that, you can still just do, you could be like, I want crawl mode, but I don't want the diff lock or whatever.
That's so smart.
Yeah, it's cool. I gotta say I like it.
That makes so much sense.
When you're turning the dial, I'm assuming there's infotainment things that you're actually selecting. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it shows you on the dash.
Whereas like I'm thinking of like old, and they're not that old Land Rovers that actually had like them painted on the thing. And as they get older, you're like, I wonder what mode that used to
like
be.
the LR3 and LR4.
Yeah, the LR3 and 4 is what I'm thinking. Like, am I in sand or snow right now? I don't really know.
Yeah.
When not to push forward in our show, but when Mike and I were driving the Suburban and we did the transmission swap on it, the lever that we put in for the 4-wheel drive was reversed from how the stock one was. And so we didn't have a knob that actually had the right pattern on it. And so we had to sort of remember, like, wait a second, was that like, I mean, it's not a big deal. It's not like something that you're using all the time, but it was funny.
You're going to find out very quickly.
Yeah. It was like, you're like, well, okay. Like I remember like low is high and high is low, but what was the middle ones? How are the middle ones switched?
That's really funny.
Trying to get to the image.
That's so smart about Bronco. I think possibly as much as IFS or solid axle, that is going to be, or that at least can be, like a clear divide between people who want like a fully modern 4-wheel drive thing where it kind of does things for you, or people who want the traditional Jeep stuff where it's like, nope, I'm going to physically do the engaging myself instead of, buttons and computers doing it.
Yeah. I mean, it'll be interesting to see sort of long-term what people like out of it, but, but I enjoyed driving it. I did take it off road. I drove it for a week. I put like 500 something miles on it. So
Oh wow,
Oh, wow.
that's
I
a
gotta
lot
write,
on a press car.
Ah,
yeah, I got to write it up tomorrow or this week for car and drivers. So
Nice.
that'll be fun.
So everybody stay tuned.
Yeah, stay tuned or go visit the car and driver website in a week or whatever.
Very cool.
I need to remember when we're posting this.
Yeah,
It's
right.
up already. You should have read it already.
It's already up.
Go look
This
for
is
the
all
review.
in the past. I've written it
Yeah.
and it's great.
It's amazing.
Best
She even sent
Bronco
me an
review.
advanced
Yeah.
copy, fully
so
support.
good.
Nice try. Yeah, no, I'm just waiting for somebody to hack Bronco so that when you do use the goat modes, it makes a goat noise, kind of like the stupid Tesla farting thing.
It sounds like the kid with their old brick Volvos that like changed the like plug-in. So like instead of the door chime, now it's like Toto's Africa. Like
Oh yeah, like that.
The Top Gear special.
I do have a friend who was very disappointed that the horn didn't make like a horse sound.
Oh, that would have been so good. Instead of
Yeah.
Dixie for like, a charger.
Yeah. Please no. Is that that's a little too on the nose? I
Please
think.
no.
I don't want that.
That's
It'd be
honestly, that
better-
would scare the shit out of me if I was walking down the street and I saw.
Can we
heard a
cut
horse.
in like Mr. Ed sound bites?
Oh.
Like, are we far enough on that copyright? Like, can we get?
Look, man,
Yep.
you can do whatever you want. I don't know. I'm not the
You might-
boss here.
See, you've already actually moved me out of it because my wife's a little shorter than you, and you said it was uncomfortable for you to drive. There's no way she's gonna let me buy
Only
something that.
The stick.
Only the stick.
I think the automatic would be fine. Like when you don't need to be as close for an automatic, but
Right.
to get a clutch all the way in, you need to be a little bit closer. So
See, that makes sense. Okay. I don't know where we want to go next.
you're the boss.
Yeah, man.
So
Pick a
I've been
place
to
and go.
but based on when the show comes out, I've been to Montana and we're hopefully back.
Trip went great.
Yeah, trip. Hopefully the trip went amazing. We figured out today the cabin doesn't have AC. And while we're there, there's one day in Whitefish where the high is 98 and we're a little outside. So I'm hoping we're a little outside and a little up.
Oh man,
98 is hot.
that's a
Pretty
hot
hot.
day to not have AC.
Are you near water?
There's a little lake.
All right. Plan a lake day that day.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Maybe there's other family. They're going to be there and they're in more of a condo. So like, maybe we'll go visit them for a couple hours, heat of the afternoon.
Go out and get food.
Yeah.
Like avoid the cabin at all costs from like noon to 5.
That's kind of how normally you go for a hike and then you come home and then crash anyway. We did get an oil change in the Sequoia, Ross. I didn't tell you this. The dealer, when I picked it up in the oil change, he was like, "Hey man, does it ever start and then die?" I was like, "No." And he's like, "Oh, it did that." So no other
That
form
was
of explanation whatsoever. It was just an oil change. Like we didn't even rotate tires. Like I can do that on my own. Like what?
Yeah, that's bizarre.
Did you guys like nose it uphill to like start the? I don't know. So
I would hopefully
they
chalk it up to a fluke.
yeah, when they went to restart it, they like primed the fuel pump a little more, and then everything was just fine. But I was like, maybe something to keep in the back of my mind that
That's
Sequoia
really
needs a fuel pump.
Bizarre.
Hopefully not.
Hopefully not.
Hopefully not. I do have to go get an oil change in the Suburban, and I'm dreading that because it's synthetic and going to be expensive. And I don't want to do it.
Yeah, probably like 8 quarts, right?
It's only a 5.3, so it shouldn't be that many quarts.
I don't remember.
It's a
It's
lot.
been a long time.
It's a lot. Anyway,
Yeah.
do you have news for your Rubicon?
The Jeep plant was shut down in Toledo last week, so no further developments.
Do
That's
we know why?
They said it was planned maintenance. They originally had a week of shutdowns planned for June. They did not do it because of something with the supply chain, which is code for chip shortage. And then they took their planned maintenance week this week. So not a single Wrangler was built this week.
Ross, do you have a
So-
Jeep on order?
I have a Jeep on order.
That's very
Yep.
exciting. Congratulations.
Thank you. It is lightly terrifying.
No, it's going to be
But-
great.
It will hopefully be great.
Once
I
it gets here.
am yeah, once it gets here, I'm very carless. So I have a Tundra on loan from Toyota this week. I was told it was a TRD Pro. It's actually an SR5 with the Trail Edition package, whatever they call it, which is black wheels, slightly different cloth seats, and a bed liner with the locking cargo things on the inside of both sides. Guess the sticker price. So no leather, no heat, no heated seats, no sunroof. It's an SR5. It's a base trim truck. That's exactly it.
46.
Color.
46.
Higher?
It's a $50,000 truck.
What?
Yeah.
Ouch.
Yep.
And it doesn't have heated seats?
It doesn't have any luxury items whatsoever, except it has CarPlay. It has the upgraded like JBL system, which works great. The stereo sounds great. CarPlay works seamlessly. It has the largest second row I've ever seen in my life, which you can tell from this picture.
Yeah, I was gonna.
The Crew Max is, if you're looking for quad cab pickup and you're like, hey man, I got to stick 2 car seats in the back, you buy the Tundra, because like I'm 6'4", putting 2 car seats in that truck, I could get in, stand up and bend over, and then move my body side to side in there to install both car seats, and then just like hop out.
The only non-limousine I've ever been in that had more room in the back was, do you remember the Ram Mega Cab?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They that still has make them back. Do they?
Yeah.
Serial? Wait, really?
I think so.
Oh, I didn't know that. Well, it's like comical how much room there is. I can sit in the back seat, and I mean, I'm short. I'm like 5'9" on a really good day. And I can like literally put my legs all the way up and not touch the front seat for where I sit. So yeah, I don't know. It's a good truck. It's, everything is like, it's a loaner, like a press loaner with 9,000 miles on it, which is a lot for a loaner. And
times 7.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's like,
and
it
everything is like new, it doesn't feel like it's got more than 100 miles on it, which is kind of what you expect of a Tundra. It's kind of strange. It's the same engine and transmission as the Sequoia, which I had about a month ago, and it feels a lot stronger. Like it feels like it's tuned to have more power down low, which is, I guess, what you want from a pickup. Ride's okay, we put 200 miles on it on Saturday. I don't love the seats. They're like completely flat and kind of weirdly pitched forward, so you like slide off the front. But I just keep looking at the sticker price and kind of looking around going, so this is $50,000 truck these days, huh?
It makes me think of like if it was like 38, that's like the starter overland truck.
Buy at 38, this would be a buy all day. And I think the SR5's base is like 41 and change, which in normal times you could probably buy it for 38. So I have a few other things I need to do with it, but it's an enormous truck.
Have you towed the quad yet with it?
Haven't towed. Don't foresee any towing. Speaking of the quad last weekend decided to just not run at all. It wouldn't start. It would like just fire, and then it would idle between like 3,300 RPMs and like 4,800, which 4-stroke quad, not supposed to do that. So change the spark plugs on Saturday, put a new air filter on, and it runs like it's new. So
maybe you should do that to his truck too.
Yeah, probably.
I'll be right back.
So,
my Sequoia does have the same wheels as that Trails Team Edition.
Really?
Yeah, I got the Tundra TRD wheels, but mine are the black with like the silver accents on it. So
yeah, these are the same exact wheels, just they painted them like
completely
monochromatic black.
Yeah.
It's I don't know.
Is 50 the new 35? And we just
in full size pickups, yeah. There was a time.
I feel like that's all cars.
Well, there was a time, when like small pickups, when you could, instead of buying like a Tacoma or a Frontier, the same money would get you pretty well equipped full size. And that's not entirely the case anymore. We're starting to see the full size gap just go higher and higher. So
Okay, and then my counterpoint is this Toyota trying to keep up with the price of a Ram? Because I feel like Rams are crazy expensive.
I mean, everything's expensive right now.
Right.
I certainly wouldn't want to be, if I was new car shopping, I would be sad that I was doing it right now.
Yep. I bought a used Suburban last April before, like right at the beginning of everyone realizing, hey, there's nothing on the lots. And I got tons of great value for my trade-in, which is why we moved into the Suburban instead of the Highlander. But yeah, if they tried to buy it back for me like 2 weeks ago.
that's
I
not
just got it, guys.
Not a surprise.
Like, you have nothing to put me in otherwise. Like, what am I getting out of this?
Falling off cliff in a few weeks.
So
a few weeks from this show's posting, not a
Yes.
few weeks from today.
speaking of Suburbans, can we talk more about your cross-country trip? Because first of all, I love a good cross-country trip. I think those are amazing in and of themselves, but then to do it in a Squarebody Suburban is just way more fun.
It was pretty fun. I mean, you guys talked to Mike, what was it? A month ago or something? I don't
Something
know.
like that.
Always back there.
About that.
Yeah.
During drag week. That's how I know when it was.
That's right. So then it was like 2.5 weeks ago, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I recommend all road trips, but big trucks make for, I think, possibly the best road trips. I don't know. There's a lot of different angles you can take with any road trip. So there's like definitely an argument to be made for like a road trip in something like super fast or something sort of very small and maneuverable. But big truck window view there really isn't a better one. Maybe like a 56 Chevy, but not much looks better than like a big flat Suburban hood and just like giant windows all around you and America.
Mm-hmm. That's like the traditional like American view that, is kind of what you expect to see in a picture in a road trip book.
Yeah. I mean, we felt the other thing that was nice about it was like, it was just sort of like wherever we were, it was kind of like, oh, I don't know, we can drive over that. Like drive over it. We can drive through it. It was very freeing.
Mm-hmm. So the road trip was for a Hemmings series, right?
That is correct. Yeah.
And what should we expect? Is it we talked to Mike, so we know, but I'd like the audience to know. So what was the premise for the whole adventure?
So this was Mike coming to me. And I mean, I guess maybe we should back up a little bit in case. So I currently am writing for Car and Driver, but up until very recently, I was freelance. So I was kind of doing everything for anyone. And Mike and I have been friends for a long time. And he got, he's been working on video projects for Hemmings. And he came to me, a couple months ago and said, hey, do you have time? Would you want to go on this trip with me? Here's what we're doing. We're buying a car up in Detroit and we're going to road trip it back to Los Angeles. We'll stop along the way. We'll do some upgrades. We'll eat some good food. We'll see some stuff. And, then we'll make it home and the footage that we do along the way will turn into like a series where we kind of show one upgrade per series or a little section of the adventure per series. And I was like, yeah, like
Sounds perfect.
You don't need to ask me twice to go on a road trip, and especially not to go on a road trip in a cool car that involves stopping at various shops. So that was the premise of the show. Totally Mike's idea. He had it. He had things locked down, going to be on Hemmings, and it was really fun. Like we had a really good time.
So it's part travel documentary and part build show.
Yeah, like a little less drama than your usual build show because we weren't like working against a deadline or we'd lose the shop kind of thing.
The drama.
But there is a little bit of drama in any road trip, and there's certainly a little bit of drama in any mechanical upgrade, even small ones. So we had some things go like mildly wrong, and we'd have to kind of get them back on track and make some adjustments to our plans as we went. But we made it back. It's
Mhm.
It was pretty great. It was really like, I mean, I've done a lot of road trips and I've done a lot of old car driving, but that was the longest old car trip that even I had done. It was like 3,000 miles.
Yeah.
That's a haul.
You said it took you guys like 21 days?
Well, only because we had multiple days in like when they were doing installs and stuff, like if they were doing a transmission install, that's like a 3-day thing,
Right.
They're not doing that. Like, we're not just like popping in, grabbing a new transmission and like hitting the road again. So yeah, we were on the road. It'd be great. We were on the road for 3 weeks.
The reality TV producers are salivating at that. Get it in now. Like,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
There's
So,
your manufactured drama.
You only have 3 of the 8 bolts in. It doesn't matter.
I mean,
Just
it's
go.
fun. It's funny because we were on the road for a long time, and really looking back at it, I think that we could have used 4 more days.
Really?
There were a
Wow.
couple of drives where we went past stuff that was so cool,
Okay.
but we really didn't have time to stop. If you've got to like knock out 400 or 500 miles in a day, like you actually don't have a whole bunch of free time for like futzing around in the middle of that. So that was kind of, we could have used a little more. There were some cool things that we want to go back and see.
So Detroit to Memphis to Texas.
Yeah, it's
Does that sound right?
it was actually, it was Grand Rapids, I think,
Okay.
is where we started, which is farther away than Detroit. Yeah, to Tennessee, but
Okay.
before Memphis, and then Memphis, and then Texas, and then we went up to New Mexico, Arizona, and then we spent a long time, like we had several projects in the Los Angeles area, which by itself is a road trip. We went like all the way to the east and all the way to the north and all the way to the south. So, and then Mike drove it home to San Francisco. So.
And that's the only time that it actually broke down on the side of the road was Mike by himself when you guys
Yeah,
were done.
exactly. Yeah, that was the only time that it was like a big problem. I mean, we had a couple of belt issues while we were on the road, but nothing that kept us down for longer than what time it took to get a new belt.
And you did that whole trip, or up until a portion or part of the trip rather, without AC, right?
Yeah, I would say we did most, even once we had AC, most of the trip we didn't, we did a lot of it just with the windows down. I mean, partially because it's nice. It's nice with the windows down when you're in an old vehicle where like it doesn't buffet you like a new one.
Yes.
It's like a really great feeling. And then, it was like, even once we had AC and everything was fine, but there is this thing about an older car where you're like, it's hot outside. Like, should I run the AC, or that's gonna be hard on the car? But yeah, for the, it was nice once we got the AC, and we felt pretty glamorous after that.
So what kind of speeds were you able to run? Not average, but not like,
Yeah.
not cannonballing here.
I mean, Mike drives fast, so we'd go 80 when he was driving. I felt like 75 was about where I like no longer enjoyed the handling characteristics of the truck. That was something
It's a real thing.
We never really
Lack of handling.
Yeah, we never addressed steering or suspension, and so I think down the road that those would be my spots, because it definitely had big tires on it, and it moved around a fair amount when you were getting on it.
Well, and like that old of truck steering moves around anyway.
Killer. Yeah.
And then adding high speeds.
Yeah. But I mean, nothing scares Mike. Like, he was just like, no problem. I was like, all right, it's all you, man.
Go get him.
Seriously. All right. So this wasn't the only truck in your life. You tend to have a tendency rather to collect oddball
You and
older
Tom
older
both
trucks
somehow
So-
tracked.
Gotta got a little bit of a truck magnet happening at the house.
What currently lives at your house?
See, we got a 93 Cummins turbo diesel, 60.
Is that the yellow one?
No, that one's white. The yellow one is a 79
Okay.
Dodge that we put a turbo diesel in. And then we've got 65 Ford Wrecker and a 68 Dodge D700, 68 Dodge D800, and a 71 Dodge D700.
So you like Dodge?
I mean, they make good trucks, or they
yeah,
Got a Polara too. Like
certainly in 1968, the ramp truck of choice was a Dodge.
Mhm.
So yeah, there's a fair amount of trucks. I mean, that's just trucks. We've got a lot of cars too.
That truck is the one picture, just the record. It's freaking cool.
Yeah, the Wrecker is a big crowd favorite. Would like to drive it around, park it in front of people's houses when we're visiting. Always like expecting them to get mad, and then everybody's kids in the neighborhood come out to look at it.
because
Have you ever?
the kids don't know that's Mater. Like
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
it's got a rusty bed on the back. It's Mater, and it looks like a
Totally.
truck.
I mean, we call it Mater. So
Yeah.
Have you ever just picked up a friend's car and just dragged it away?
we've never picked up somebody's car unwillingly, but we have towed, I think, 3 times with that truck. Once it was a neighbor's, maybe Crown Vic or something like that.
Oh wow.
And then we towed a Dodge truck with it, like a smaller Dodge truck. So it works.
That's pretty funny.
Is the dump truck still there?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. That was my favorite one because that's the one that Tom bought for a part that he needed for something else, but then basically just brought home a dump truck.
Yeah, he's a softie, so he was gonna take it apart for one of the other big trucks, and then he liked it so much he just decided not to. So we just have a dump truck in the backyard.
Will not sacrifice you for another vehicle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically.
What's next? What's arriving next?
She's still using them. Like
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I remember. So the video is of is landscaping by vehicle.
Yeah. Well, so I don't know if you guys have these where you are. You probably don't. They're called pencil cactuses or fire
Not in
stick
Connecticut.
fire stick cactus, and it's like a really cool looking plant. It's this big, lush, very green succulent that has like long, slender sort of stem leaves. But if you even brush against them, they break off very easily, and the sap is super acidic. So like it'll leave actual burns on your skin. And if you get it in your eyes, like sometimes you have to go to the doctor. It's like very, very burny.
That sounds terrible.
So yes, and I knew this when I planted them, but they were small and it wasn't a big deal. Like, you could trim them really easily. They were really small, but then they got big and they started taking over all the walking paths in the yard. So we've been trying to pull them out, but even pulling them out is like, how do you get them out? Because you don't want any go anywhere near them. So
your arms are only so long, and even like gloves and a shirt, they can go.
So we've just been wrapping a chain around them and then yanking them out with the truck.
I fully support this. Like stumps are a no, but the way this comes out appropriate. Like it doesn't come out with a giant.
No, it was very peaceful.
Yeah. It was
My
relaxing
dad did
when I
that
saw it.
When I was a kid with his Jeep, and it wasn't anything as nearly as dangerous as that plant. And I just remember him, I was standing next to his Jeep. I was probably like 8 years old. And I remember him looking at me and going, you should probably go very far away in case something happens. I was like, what could possibly happen, But,
yeah, somebody scolded me on that video. You can never post anything without somebody scolding you, but somebody scolded me about the safe lack of safety they felt that I was demonstrating. And I was like, there's literally nobody else there except for me and Tom. Like where nobody's standing near it.
The length of chain, even if it had snapped, would not have gotten to you in the cab. It's an 8-foot bed on that truck. Like,
yeah, I mean,
what did they think was gonna happen? Oh, okay, some people have too much time.
I don't know. They're just jealous of my pulling power.
They had never done that before.
That's the kind of lady who would comment on the rust on a vehicle and be like, "Did you get a tetanus shot yet?" Like,
Back when I worked for David Freiberger, when I worked for Roadkill, I had a doctor's appointment, just like a regular checkup. And the doctor asked what I did, and I was like trying to explain it. I'm like, well, I like write this car stuff about this, go to the junkyard and like get new. And then she was like, okay. And then she just gave me a tetanus shot. Like she didn't even ask if I'd had one or like if I needed one.
you needed the booster.
She just gave me a tetanus shot.
The application for working with him seems like it's not a drug test. It's a, did you get your tetanus booster?
Yeah. I mean, I would recommend it if anybody's planning to take a job working for Roadkill or Freiberger. Tetanus
David
shot.
notoriously works in flip-flops, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, I feel like he's probably immune to tetanus.
or just he is tetanus at this point. Like he's scared. Lockjaw.
Lockjaw. That'd be a great name for a car project, by the way.
It would be. I'm surprised I haven't used that yet, actually.
Give him time.
Coming soon on Roadkill. Yeah.
Wait, we copyrighted that. We got to hurry up and get the show out.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. This is going live tomorrow.
Legal record. Sweet. How's the Opel doing?
I love the Opel so much. It's great. It has a couple of small fixes that I need to do. They're all like things that from like bigger fixes that weren't complete. Like the fuel tank in those is like inside the car. Like it's where a trunk would be, except the Opel GT doesn't have a trunk. It's just got sort of a space back there that's behind the back seat. And that's where the fuel tank is. And you can't really get to it very easily. And it has like this very complicated German multi-hose venting system. And so that was leaking. So we replaced all of that. And after we had replaced everything, I was like, oh, isn't that like, there's like one more little like spigot that we didn't replace. And we were like, it can't be that important. There's like 4 vent hoses. We just plugged it. And it turns out it is important because I can't get it to take a full tank of gas now. Like it'll just like
burp it back out.
Yeah, it'll burp it back out. So I've got to go back in there and put one last little hose in. But
they really are small. Like I saw one in person recently. They are not big cars.
Dude, they're tiny.
They're very small. I once lost mine in a parking lot, and when I finally found it, it was behind a Miata. So they're not big.
Yeah, they're cool. One of my friends had one, and it was so rad. He had that after he had a C3 Corvette. I was like, oh, you have a Type.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like and his Corvette was like looking at it, going like, "Oh, you dumped me for somebody smaller and younger."
Yeah, right.
Dude, they really are tiny. Like
that one's very nice.
Yeah, it was
gorgeous.
It was at my wife's grandmother's community. Somebody had it in a lot there, and it was the kind of one that as I drove by, I was like, "Oh no, I'm going back to take a picture." That looked really nice. Now, as I got closer, it had some flaws, but
10-footer.
I mean, don't we all?
Yeah, it looked way better than I looked. Like,
yeah, that's actually a really funny thing. Is like the level of car that you drive past. It's like, okay, turn and look, turn around and go look, turn around, look and take pictures, and then like leave a note that you're interested in buying it, and then you're off the deep end.
Yeah. See, I think flat fender Jeeps would get me to turn around and go back and leave a note.
So you'd asked earlier what we're bringing in now, and Tom's currently wants a Jeep, but like a Willys Jeep, like a World War II Jeep.
Something that came off the set of MASH.
Earlier, he wants something that came off the beaches of Normandy.
Now, does he want like the original? Like he wants paperwork that proves that, or just he wants of the era?
I mean, he wouldn't turn down one that had paperwork that proves that, but
I feel like Lynn Woodward would probably. Who did she go to Normandy with?
Aaron Robinson.
With Aaron, yeah. There could be a connection. Also, did you see what Sean Hallman brought home this week?
No, I didn't.
Chris, if you can bring up his Instagram,
it's
the real. He brought home the real deal. I don't know. I can't remember what the story is, but it's a war Jeep.
Flat fender, yeah.
It's a flat fender Ford built award Jeep, which is pretty cool. And I think he flat towed it behind a Yukon.
Looks that
Oh
way.
yeah.
Yep. So
That's
Been,
very
been in the
cool.
family since 70. That's awesome.
that's pretty cool.
They look so
They're
cute.
tiny, dude. They're smaller than like a Polaris Razor 1000S.
Look at the shovels on the side. That's awesome.
Can you full screen that real quick?
Is it getting bigger
Is it-
for you?
Oh no, my computer just decided to have conniption.
I tried to zoom in. I don't know if it
Yeah,
gets
it's
bigger in the
like-
recording. I hope it does.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it could fit in the bed of like a Ram 3500 dually.
Yeah, they're cool.
Yeah, I
Alright,
like
well-
the little ones.
If one happens to pop up out here, I'll send it your way, even though it's probably even in worse condition out here.
Well, if we get one, I'm sure you'll hear about it.
So here, but we'll see it on the channel.
Yeah, you'll see it.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, and
Good
like
one.
they're so like watching. I feel like David has built how many different Jeep engines over the years. Like I feel like I've watched that dude run. Oh God, I don't even remember what the words are failing tonight. And this is
It's,
audio based.
It's late.
It's
What
like
are
the
words?
he puts a thing full of marbles on a drill bit and runs it up and down in cylinder.
Oh yeah,
head.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. It's a hone. It's a
Yeah, the hone. Yeah.
ball hone.
Yes. I feel like I've seen him do that a ton of times to Go Devils, Hurricanes, like pick a Jeep engine. I feel like I've seen David do that. Like
We rebuilt a mini bike engine once and got to use like the teeniest, tiniest ball hone. It was so cute. Oh my god, it was really funny.
so they weren't marbles, they were like Skittles. Like they were
Yeah, yeah, exactly. They were pretty small. So
dude, that's
Eat
awesome.
them afterwards.
Yeah, but I feel like I feel like a Willys Jeep is the closest to like adult Legos. Not like adult inappropriate, but like for an older age group.
NC-17. like-
This joke is not working. It wasn't supposed to be a joke.
That's
In
just the
that,
Jeep.
in
brand.
that there are multiple plug and play options for them. You can like take a piece out of one, plug it into another. You
Mhm.
can add a bajillion different accessories onto it, or take everything off and have it be extremely simple. Yes.
Well, like,
I feel
didn't
like
it come in a
that's-
box?
That's the TJ more so even. You
Like
know?
I'm thinking of the war Jeeps in a box kind of thing. Like
Our Jeeps in the box. Yeah, there was a video of them
taking
like
them out of
a
crates.
taking them out of crates and assembling them in like
Yeah.
minutes.
I think like Bring a Trailer listed one in a crate. Like
That's wild. I would love to just like have that arrive and be like, all right, this is what you're doing this weekend, and see how
Yeah.
far you could actually get, see
Like,
like what level of skill.
order cater them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Or like a Myers makes.
Yes. I had a neighbor finish one recently. He goes, yeah, we're just waiting on wheels. And I expected to see it around the neighborhood. He sold it. Like you just spent all that time. He was like, yeah, I was just showing the boys how to build it. And then he sold it.
It's like
Wow.
a professional chef.
I
guess,
All that
yeah.
time making something, then you just send it out.
Put
I
the
mean,
kit together.
really.
I feel like his kids would have been more won over if they'd at least got to tool around it a little, but
And maybe they did. The
Yeah.
neighborhood's kind of big.
He didn't
might have
invite
missed it.
you.
Exactly. And I definitely made a point to comment on it. Please, when you get that done, I want to see it. Like, it's
See,
awesome.
you were out of town that weekend. The oldest kid burned up the clutch and then ran over the mailbox, and they sold it on Sunday.
yeah, exactly. I think Ross is right.
He may work in an emergency room and saw the danger and it was like, nope, like that thing's out.
Uh,
Well, when you guys were talking to Musto, did he tell you about how he didn't get a motorcycle till he was 18 because his dad was an emergency room doctor or a surgeon and told him absolutely not?
Is
I
it
don't think he did.
that's the
No.
same guy who's told stories about drifting motorcycles at speed. Didn't he like go MotoGP? Like he went full
He-
like
Race
He
bikes.
went bike racing after after he no longer lived at home. Ask him next time you talk to him. You should ask him. I'm not going to tell his stories. They're too
Happily.
good.
that's great though. Like
Would do
my
it.
dad had a motorcycle when he was younger and just constantly referred to him as donor mobiles. And I went, okay, I don't want to get hurt. Like I don't need the risk. I'm good. Yeah. I like Jeeps. They're more fun.
Well,
And don't have one.
there's a reason I don't own a motorcycle.
But You own a quad, and that's almost the same type of risk.
It is not.
Okay.
Okay. It has twice the number of wheels to start.
I
You
would say
also
2/3 of the people on this podcast
it.
right now don't believe you.
Okay, you don't only in limited scenarios do you ride a quad. See, the problem isn't motorcycles.
It's street riding.
Yeah, it's idiots who are driving cars and not paying attention.
Yeah.
You know, what percentage of motorcycle accidents are actually like the motorcycle rider's fault?
The guy laying it down on grass clippings.
I mean, in general, dirt bikers just break legs, like
Right. Ankles and legs.
Street bikers, they get really hurt.
Get hit by stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think Travis Pastrana might argue on what he breaks, but he does a completely different type of ride.
That's not even the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, I feel once you bring
not,
once you bring Pastrana into the argument,
not.
it's we're over.
Yeah.
The guy who held the record for rolling a car the most times. Like,
Right.
Travis is the extreme in any argument.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I am trying to get on two wheels though. I think Bowman said he could possibly make the connection. So we'll see.
Honda has some great schools. If you want to do,
They have actual like off-road schools.
Yeah, they have a dirt bike school. At their Honda has a what do they call it? Riders. It's like Honda Riders something, and I think there's four locations, and they do both street bike, so you can get licensed, and they have a dirt bike class, and the dirt bike class is so fun. They like the one out here is in Colton, California, which is and they have like a multi-acre, like they built trails, and so it looks like real trails, like they have the signs and everything, and they have like different levels, and so when you're taking the class, they like you're not just riding around in a dirt lot, you go on the trail.
Well, I know what I will be pursuing tomorrow.
I feel like we know Honda reps, Ross. Like, how are we not talking to them?
I do know Honda reps. Actually.
I know.
Yeah.
One's in Georgia and one's in Ohio too. Like,
okay, let's make it happen.
Send an email, Holmes.
Yeah. Well, I got my work cut out for tomorrow.
Tell them I recommended it.
I have some
I
free time.
I mean, and it's, you know, for people who are listening and don't know Honda reps, is not that much money. I think it was like 400 something for a day. Maybe look it up. Like
That's cheap.
It wasn't, you know, it wasn't like something, you know, like there's some amazing schools, like rally schools and stuff, but you really got to save up. You're talking thousands. Like the dirt bike riding school was not that much money, and they like provided everything: gear, bike, helmet, instruction.
Oh, wow.
So it wasn't, you didn't need to have a bike already. You didn't need to have your own gear. And then since they teach everybody from kids on up, they had a ton of sizes as well, which is another thing that I know, you know, people my height sometimes worry about if you're going to like a racing school or something. It's like, are all the helmets and all the gloves and everything going to be like size, $1 million?
No. Or is it like 450s only? I literally can't get my leg over some of the big 450s.
Yeah, no, they had little bikes, they had big bikes, they gave you a lot of options. So 10-10 recommendation, folks.
Yeah.
Hey, I can't see a price on the website yet.
We'll figure this out.
I hope you don't make a liar out of me. It's gonna be like,
No.
it's like it's gone up. It's like $3,000.
There's an extra zero on the 400.
That's the kind of thing, like with COVID protocols and stuff, like it's outdoors, like you're separated from people, like just sanitize some gear. We can keep going.
Yep.
Plus, if they have talons there too.
Ooh.
Ross is quad guy, side by side guy, where I'm just like, let's go camping with the family, and the truck guy. And so he and Bowman and Kevin Ray over at UTV Driver have been in my ear constantly about side by sides and dirt bikes. I'm like, I don't know. Like,
It's the best.
I think I'm too old.
It's the best. You're not, dude.
My back hurts already, Ross.
Half of my riding group is older than you.
Part of that's your dad. That doesn't count.
He's older than you.
I know, but like,
The only other person that's younger than you in my riding group is my brother
and you
and me.
by a lot.
Yeah, but everybody else is older. It's you would be shocked by what the suspension on those things do.
Side by sides.
Yeah.
Also, terrible pun.
Might be shocked by the suspension. We just moved on.
he just sprung that one on you. But yeah, I mean, side-by-sides that's for people who have gotten too old for dirt bikes. They're totally fine. Like you can't be too old for a side-by-side.
So
It's true.
the other day, and I still need to write this post for Jeff, and I don't know if Jeff wants it or not, but whoever put on Twitter the Toyota 4Runner TRD Pro that was 57,000 base.
Oh, it's Camille.
And then the dealer markup was $23,000. I want to do a post where you can buy a 4Runner and then all of the other things that you could possibly afford for $23,000, because side by side fits in that category.
Yeah.
Oh,
you
yeah.
get a 4-seat Talon
And
starting at 23,900. Like,
Mhm.
I mean, you can almost get a Ford Maverick for that amount of money.
You could,
Right.
but you could get a base Maverick. The only problem is if you get one of the big 4-seat Talons and like a nice
you can't
like,
tow it with that
steel
4Runner, can
trailer,
you?
you probably can't tow it with 4.
Ross, you're ruining my concept here. I was looking at RV travel trailers. You know how many of those you can afford for 20 grand? Like,
Oh my God. You know how many possibly, never mind. Let's go away from that topic.
you could buy like 7 clapped out, like first gen 4Runners. Like, you could have so much fun with this. Buy them all at 3 grand. You'd have so much fun. I still don't think Jeff wants that article.
Did anybody follow up on that like dealer? Was that like a like, you know, was that like a pie in the sky thing, or did somebody buy it?
I see. I don't know if anybody's bought it, but like from what I saw, like there were a couple of 4Runners on that lot that had that kind of markup.
That's wild.
That's crazy.
One was a TRD Pro and one was something else. And the markup was literally titled limited availability.
Can you imagine being in a situation where you've convinced yourself that you need something enough to pay 20 grand more than it's worth?
Or that a 4Runner that's been in production since 2000, late 09 is
like,
worth $70,000.
What financial institution's gonna finance that?
They won't finance the
Somebody's gonna have to
Right.
pay cash.
22% interest,
Yeah.
you know? But no, I had that 4Runner, that TRD Pro last week, and even the base price of 53 was like, you know, like, okay, I kind of get it. But if you literally multiply that by 50% and add it to itself, nope.
There's not a world where that makes sense.
Nope. Terrible.
I don't like buying new cars anyway, let alone paying markup.
Yeah. I mean, I'm buying my new vehicle at under invoice, so I don't feel bad.
Helps to know people.
Dude, no, anybody can do that. Literally anybody. No, why?
I mean, so
it's an open offer.
tell everybody.
Tell everybody.
Sweet. Elana, do you have anything coming up that you want to promote other than a big series on Hemmings?
I definitely think everybody should watch a big series on Hemmings and basically everything that Mike Musto does. What else do I have?
Oh,
coming up? Huh.
you had the Ring Brothers Blazer thing.
Oh, I sure did. Yeah,
I'm assuming that was as loud and fun as I would expect it to be.
it was loud and it was fun. It wasn't, I don't think, as loud as you would expect it to be.
Okay.
I mean, it was by large modified truck standards, it was actually pretty quiet. I mean, it has it had a crate LS in it. So it was, it was a powerful engine, but not, it wasn't like a totally crazy, like
Not the guy
once
who
they
literally
kept
just
things in
cut the
check.
mufflers. Yeah.
yeah. And then it had like a full Flowmaster system on it. So
Nice.
it sounded very good. It sounded like a truck that you would want to cruise by the beach in. And it was really fun to be like, it's such a good roof. It's a bikini roof or a bimini roof. So it's like, I don't know, it's like the opposite of a Targa, basically. Everything's open except the part right over where you are, which is brilliant.
That's my
Because then
favorite
you're-
How do you
type.
describe it like that?
You're in the shade.
Yes.
But you have all of the air around you. And again, a nice thing about old cars is it's funny because people would be like, what? They're not aerodynamic, but because they were designed before air conditioning, most of them, they're designed to like kind of have a nice airflow through. And they don't resonate the way that new cars do. So like you don't get that weird eardrum vibration that you'll get in a new car when the air is like kind of being interrupted from its aerodynamic flow. So, it's like it was breezy in there, but it was like quite enough that I could talk to whoever was in the passenger seat, like really talk. Like we weren't shouting or anything. It wasn't.
You didn't have to go to the rugged radio intercom.
Yeah. Oh no, it was like nothing like that at all. Like it was actually like quite nice, very civilized. Paint was gorgeous. People really, they were definitely checking us out. It was a fun way to cruise.
I love a bronze wheel with a green paint.
Yeah, it's a great color combination. So yeah, it's like a really dark bronze. So like almost like a metallic brown, almost like a root beer color on the wheel.
It's a good looking truck.
It's solid.
Yeah. So it was fun. That was, it was fun to write that up too. Car and Driver's been great because they've been letting me do a lot of stuff that isn't just like new car news. And which is great, good. I mean, that's part of their history as well, right? Is to, have known who's building, who's modifying, all, what's happening in the car community. So I have some fun projects that I'm working on for them. Sweet. And then obviously getting to hang out with Larry Chen is always a delight. We've had a lot of good adventures together.
Larry seems like if you didn't take Musto on the road trip, Larry seems like he would be the other guy that would be like, yeah, let's just go. Like it's.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, Larry and I have had some great road trips. We road trip to Arizona in a Viper ACR once, which was pretty excellent.
Ooh.
What?
Ooh.
That sounds
like it was
that speaking of intercoms,
painful.
Like, that seems loud. Like
yeah.
No, man, the last generation Viper is a sweetheart. Okay. Like it's got a bad rep. It's a great car. And if they weren't like 3 times my price range, I would be owning one right now. That's like what the only, like people keep asking me like, oh, well, now you're driving all these new cars. What would you drive as your own new car, like car if you had a new car? Because I don't have anything that's newer than 93. And
was it a gray Viper?
It was gray with a black and red stripe.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did the photo shoot where I slept on it. We did like the camping.
I was saying, did you take a picture on the wing? I found
that. We did. Yeah.
Oh my God, that is amazing.
Yeah.
That's a solid photo. Like
anybody who's listening and not watching needs to go watch, because that is, I mean, it's a Larry Chen picture, but like
I'm 100% saving that as the lead photo for
the
show. I'm tagging Larry because I know I need to do that for sure.
And it looks technically off-road from how I can't really see.
We were sort of like we were in like a parking lot at the campsite. So it's sort of like half and half. But yeah.
So good.
It was because when that car, and I mean, anybody can find this picture if you look up like Larry Chen sleep on Viper wing or sleeping on ACR wing or whatever. But the way that we ended up doing that was because I went to the ACR launch and the engineers were telling me about all the aero, and they were telling me, how much downforce the wing could support, and it's a lot. And one of the engineers was like, you can sit on it. It would like, and I was like, it looks big enough that I could sleep on it. And he's like, yeah, you could sleep on it. And I was like, oh, I'm going to see if I can sleep on it.
Puts into notes.
Yeah. So it took them a while before they let us take the car for that. But then they let us take it. And I fell asleep on it. So it is actually possible. I don't recommend it. It was hard to get up there. And I was a little worried I was going to roll off the back and through the back window. Like the wing is wide, but it's angled.
Yeah.
So, so it wasn't like quite as good a cot as I was imagining it would be when I like came up with this idea. I was thinking of it like a Superbird wing or something where it's like totally flat, but it is possible. I would do it again.
It's like the Subaru Impreza wings that kids sit on backwards and used to eat dinner.
Yeah, exactly.
Weirdest Airbnb ever.
Yeah. Dude, it's mobile. Like, you
Yeah,
can
I mean,
get in town.
I could totally fill like an entire like magazine theme just on like reviews of cars to sleep in or on, because I end up doing that a lot. I don't know why. I think because I'm bad at planning hotels.
I think the first interview I ever heard you was discussing how great it was to sleep in the Polara.
Oh yeah, I must have just come back from Pismo. Yeah, I took that to Pismo Beach for a dune buggy meetup, and everybody was, camping in their RVs, and I slept in the Polara, and it was great. It was like truly great. Like there were no compromises, at all. Like it was exactly like sleeping in a hotel room.
Back seats or couches in those things.
My wife, for years since I started getting press cars, has wanted to do a series on nappability. Which, like, it's kind of important if you're going.
You
on
better
a road
hurry
trip.
up and start that, otherwise Jalopnik's going to do it.
Fuck.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if she needs some research, I've got years of research I can give her for that.
You could be the secondary source, like she
Yeah,
can.
right. I can't believe that might actually be a thing.
I could
It should
fact
be a
check
thing.
her.
Oh man.
I would read what it's saying. That yes or
fact,
no. Like
fact checking in that instance is great. Yes, fell asleep quickly.
Yeah. I mean, there are things that you don't think about though. Like it's not just the size of the seat. It also has to do with what kind of seat belts it has and whether they can like be tucked out of the way or they like stick up. And like, does the center seat section have like a hump in it? Is it slightly raised? A lot of times they are, because the tunnel goes under there. So like that makes things uncomfortable. How far in do the armrests stick in the back seat? And then also just like, can you crack a window? How like humid does it get in there while you're sleeping? How visible do you feel? Like it's very uncomfortable to try and sleep. Like one of the reasons why
like
the front
belt lines.
Yeah, like if you're like sleeping and you feel like everyone can see you sleeping, like that feels creepy. So like, it's better if you sort of feel like people can't see you in there. I don't know. Like I said, I take it very seriously.
I slept in the Land Cruiser. Like I had a 94 Land Cruiser, and I built a piece of wood and put carpet on top of it to fill. I'd take out one of the rear seats and then put that piece there to fill the rear footwell. And then it was, if I took the front passenger seat and put it all the way forward, I had, I think, 1.5 inches between my head of the tailgate and my feet at the seat there. And it was great because the belt line was high enough and I was down low enough. I didn't feel like anybody was like, they had to be like on top of me to see that I was sleeping in the vehicle.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Well, the Suburban, Mike and I were joking about like you could definitely fit a twin mattress in there and like probably a full-size mattress and possibly a queen. Like especially if you were willing to just make like a little shelf above the
if you get above the wheel wells, right? Yeah.
So I mean that thing was huge.
There's an Instagram channel that is all they do is beds and backs of Suburbans. I think it's called Sub Overland, and it's just constant Instagram builds.
I mean, again, with the Suburban, I didn't even need, like, I could sleep in the back seat and did without any problem.
Yeah, that's pretty
Scrolling for pictures.
How many sub overlands can there be?
There's a number of them because this guy's selling them now, it looks like, or at least building it out.
Like just converting them to be like sleepable.
Yeah, it looks like no, come on, open.
Is that like classic Suburbans or new ones?
Looks like he does square bodies to, was it GMT 800?
No, look at that.
99 to 06.
Yeah, then
that's nice. Although, how much weight did that fucking wood add? Good God.
I don't know. It's a Suburban. It's a truck. Who cares? That's all of overlanding is adding weight to your vehicle, Ross. Come on.
Yeah. That's such a funny definition of it. It's not self-sustained vehicular travel. It's
not in my eyes anymore. Just go add a bunch of weight to yourself. So,
well, my thing with overlanding and RVing, because we've never had an overlander, but we did have an RV for a while, is you very quickly realize that if you are the kind of person who doesn't remember to put things away and latch doors, that you will have a very bad time RVing and overlanding. Like I like, I like leave a coffee cup on the counter. I'm that kind of person. So like you cannot, and especially overlanding, because you're, theoretically on even rougher roads, and like everything goes directly onto your bed if you don't put it away. Like
that makes the next night. Well, it might smell nice, smell like coffee, but like it might be a little.
Yeah, for a day.
Get your caffeine in before you even wake up.
Yeah. So it looks like Squarebody's up to. Yeah, it looks like 90, 98, 99.
That's cool. I'm gonna have to check that out. That I like.
That's the.
I like stories about people who specialize in something very particular like that.
I saw a Trailblazer in there too. Not a new one.
Oh. Even so, not good.
It looks like there's like there's like an 07, 08 Yukon XL. Like he's flirting with everything. My issue with these is you lose the back seats. Where am I stashing kids?
It's 2 people, though,
Still on trailer. I did see something today. I think it's the cheapest 8-foot awning available. Is listed through Napa Auto Parts for $99 right now.
That's super cheap.
$99 is almost like, hey, I'm gonna go experiment with some money.
I think the ARB awning that was only like 150.
Right.
Yeah, I
$60 might matter, Russ. Or
$60 might matter. Yeah, that's true. All right.
But like to go back to your earlier conversation, $60 is you can do. What could you do with $60 in a quite a lot actually.
Half a
Gas
tank
right
of
now.
gas.
Yes. Half. Gas prices
I don't
are
know
crazy
gas
high by
prices
you.
are.
I can get a full tank for 60.
Oh yeah, no, it's terrible here. I don't have to tell you in California, but it's Connecticut. It's not good.
Well, I mean, I haven't had too much trouble with gas prices because I can't put a full tank in the Opel. So it's like, so I'm like, all right, well, $15.
What's a full tank actually? Like 12 gallons? Like it's not a big car.
Yeah, I think I think it might be 12. I've never put 12 in. It'll usually shut off at 9. So
Fuel capacity. I want to looking it up. Oh crap! It went to the liters.
yeah, I'm not doing math.
If we're trusting Google, it says the full tank is 14.5 gallons.
Yeah, I don't think that's right. I mean, it's possible. I've never run it out of gas, so I don't know, but it seems like a lot.
Well, that might have been the 07 to 10 Roadster version.
Oh, the Pontiac Solstice.
Yeah.
Saturn Sky, different Opel GT.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be. Like I said, I've never run it to empty, so I could have.
Yeah.
It could have been short shifting it this whole time.
Does yours have the 1.8 or the 1 liter?
It was a 1.8, 1.9 originally, and then it's a 2 liter now because we did the bore in the new head. Yeah, the 1.1 liter is like so cute, but I think it was only available in the very early years for the ones in the States. But yeah, it's cool. It's like 2 carbs. It's very racy. I think it's like 70 horsepower though.
Good thing it's light.
I was just researching like Mazda B2000s, and the horsepower number on it was like 80.
Yeah, no, it's impressive to think about how for like a very long time. I mean, it's not like just back then, like until fairly recently, basically until like turbos became normal. If you wanted an economy car, like you were probably looking at 100 something horsepower. Like,
yeah.
I mean, what's a Miata?
Right. Miatas have been low horsepower for a long time. They were also small and lightweight.
181 right now.
Yeah, woo! That's right now. So like, look at the earlier ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the V8 4Runner that Ross and I both had was 270 horsepower new. And now the V6 with smaller displacement makes that same number easily. Like,
and it has
constantly
since 2002.
Yeah. No, the new ones are making even more now, aren't they?
It doesn't matter. It's the same engine.
That's true.
20 years.
Anyway, anything else coming up you want to plug?
I mean, just, like the usual thing is, come hang out with me on Instagram at Challenge Her, or watch some YouTube videos that Challenge Her. I mean, I'm writing for Car and Driver, so people might not realize it, but like even if you don't get a subscription, which you certainly should, save print, but it does matter when you click on stories. Like no matter who it is who you're talking about, me or anybody else. Like if you like somebody's writing, like click on their stories, share their stories, throw a nice comment in there. Like somebody does see it, and it doesn't, like it does get logged, like
somebody's moderating.
So that kind of stuff is a nice thing to do for anybody whose work you like.
Sweet.
I will be appreciative.
Definitely. And it was Challenge Her everywhere.
Challenge Her everywhere that you want to be.
You're one of the most consistent people when it comes to that. Everybody else is like, there's an underscore over here and the real and over here.
I'm very lucky because I or lucky, or I don't know. Not sure if that's the right word. I was an early adopter of all of the mainstream social medias, so I was able to do the same thing on it.
You timed it perfectly. Does that mean Tom's home?
No, he's home. I think. All right. Well, there you go.
Hey, hi Tom. Sweet. You can read what Ross and I write on the Hooniverse on Twitter, the Real Hooniverse on Instagram, Hooniverse, UTV driver, ATV rider, car Bibles, and the drive. Did I get them all?
Click on them all and like them and comment and share them.
Yes.
Jeff,
I will do the Forerunner and other things you can buy for $23,000 post now.
Please.
I put it on record here. I have to do it now. Mainly because I just want to see I just want to go shopping with $23,000 of somebody else's money and see what I can find. That'll be fun. Ross is not like the one from Friends on Instagram. I'm at Overlanding Dad, and that's it. We did the show. We're done.
Yay! Good job.
Thank you, Alana.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on. I hope I didn't disappoint.
Certainly did not.